Hello and welcome to today's science lesson. So first of all, guys, can we all turn to wave and say a big hello to our friends on camera? Hello. And we'll begin by doing our meditation sequence. So I will sit down, take 2 fingers, find our heart center, left hand on our laps, and close our eyes. And when you're ready, guys, you can open your eyes and come back to the room. Excellent. Next we can stand up and do our stretch sequence. So let's stand up and push in our chairs. And we can begin by stretching up high to the sky. Nice big stretch. And then let's go down low and touch our toes. Back up high one more time. And this time, can we go tippy toe high? And while we're there, let's have a wave side to side. And then back down to touch your toes again. Hands on hips. And let's have a wiggle side to side. Let's have a nice wiggle side to side. Stop. Another wiggle side to side. Stop. Forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards. And stop. And then we can go round and round. Round and round. Give our spines a nice stretch. And stop. And then back the other way. Round and round the other way. Stretch right the way round. Excellent, guys. And then shake it out one more time. And shake it out. Shake it out. And to finish, we will do 5 claps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent, guys. Have a seat. So welcome to today's science lesson. And what we're going to do is begin with a recap of the previous lesson. And we've been doing a lot of work on planets of the solar system recently. And recently, in our last lesson, we reached the end with our final 2 planets, Uranus and Neptune. Yes, we've gone all the way through our different planets and we finally reached the final 2. So let's write planets on the board first, guys. P, L, A, And how many planets are there in our solar system? How many different planets? 8. Yes, we've got 8 different planets in our solar system. And now we know some facts about them all. And the final 2 we learned about, as you guys have just said, Uranus, U-R-A-N-U-S, a strange sounding planet. And the final planet of the solar system, Neptune, N-U-P-T-U-N-E. So all together, guys, Uranus and Neptune. Yes. Now, guys, who can remember some of the different facts about Uranus and Neptune? In fact, I'll give you one to start. Because they're so far away from the sun, what colours are the planets? Blue. Yes. Because they're getting very, 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 very far away from the sun, they're both blue. So we can say that about both of them. The colour, blue. But how about some more facts? Which one? That you're correct, Lakgal. Which one is the 7th? Uranus. Well done. You see, now we're getting really far away from the sun. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and then Uranus is the 7th planet in our solar system. So guys, if Uranus is our 7th planet of the solar system, what is Neptune? The 8th planet, yes. The 8th and final planet of our solar system. There used to be a 9th planet. Yes, good point. Both of these are blue. So what do you think? Do you think these planets are hot? No, they are cold. Yes, both of these planets. The temperature is something like minus 300 degrees. So impossible for anything to survive on planets this cold. But they are made up of different things. One of them is made up of ice, is known as an ice giant. Which planet do we think that is? Uranus is the ice giant, yes. Uranus is known as ice giant because it's a giant ball of ice in the sky or in space. But Neptune isn't an ice giant. Neptune isn't solid. Neptune is made up of gases, but it's a giant big ball of gas. So what was Neptune known as? The gas giant, yes. And what I'm going to do now is after Uranus and Neptune, I'm going to give you the name of Pluto. Because up until about 20 years ago, there was a 9th planet in our solar system called Pluto. But Pluto is only very small. So the scientists said it's not even a planet. It's known as something called a dwarf planet, which is similar to the moon. It's not big enough to be a planet. So we went from having 9 planets with Pluto to just 8 planets. So the facts we've got about Uranus are colour, blue. 7th planet, very cold, and it's an ice giant. And the facts we know about Neptune, also colour blue. The 8th planet, very, very cold, and it's known as the gas giant because Neptune is not solid, it's just made up of different gases. And they're the facts we've learned about all of the planets in our solar system. Guys, that was brilliant, very well remembered. So that was a recap of the previous lesson when we learned about Uranus and Neptune. What we're going to do in today's lesson is we're going to learn about some of the objects that exist in our solar system. They're not planets, but they do exist, so they need to be given names, and we'll find out how we can tell them apart. So what we've got now is a PowerPoint presentation for our students to observe, listen to, and also practice speaking about the other solar system objects. So let's turn to have a look at the TV screen, please, guys. So let's take a look at our PowerPoint presentation today, solar system objects. And what this means are the different things that exist in our solar system other than planets. There are lots of different objects in the solar system that are not planets. Yes, we've learned about all of the different planets in the solar system, but there are other objects too. Not everything in the solar system is a planet. So let's have a look at some of the other things. Comets are lumps of ice and dust that travel around space. Yes, a comet is a massive ball of ice and dust, and it travels around space at high speeds. If a comet travels too close to the sun, it will start to melt. Yes, because it's a giant ball of ice basically traveling through space. If it gets too close to the sun, it starts to melt, and you can see parts coming away from it. Comets leave behind a trail of dust and gas that look like a tail. Like you can see in the picture here. Like you can see the comet is the green ball in the sky. But look behind the comet. Look at the trail of dust and ice it's leaving. It's like it has a tail. If ever you're lucky enough to see one in the sky, you'll notice the comet with its tail traveling behind. Meteors are giant lumps of rock that travel around the solar system. Yes, just giant lumps of rock in space, but they travel around the solar system. You can get very big meteors, hundreds of miles wide, and you can get very small ones too. Meteors get hot and burn inside the Earth's atmosphere. Yes, if a meteor ever comes close to Earth and enters our atmosphere, the magnetic field of the atmosphere of the Earth will make it burn up, and it will slowly get smaller and smaller. Like you can see here, the meteor is turning into a big fireball. Meteors are also known as shooting stars. Yes. So if you see a shooting star, you know what it really is. It's a meteor, a giant lump in space. And then we have asteroids. Can be found in a giant belt traveling around the solar system. Remember when we did our work on the solar system and we found out that there was a belt of rocks between some of the planets? This is the asteroid belt. And as you can see in the picture here, an asteroid belt is just made up of thousands of different asteroids. Most asteroids orbit the sun between the planets Mars and Jupiter. So you can see here on our model of the solar system, this is the asteroid belt here. All these lumps of rocks known as asteroids between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. So if ever anyone was trying to travel between these planets, it would be very hard because lots of rocks in the way. Sometimes asteroids bump into each other and break into smaller pieces. Yes, and sometimes they even collide with the Earth too. Has anybody ever heard of dinosaurs? Dinosaurs are massive animals that used to live on Earth, but they all died out because what happened? An asteroid fell from space and collided with the Earth, and the destruction it caused killed all the dinosaurs. Because one of these collided with the Earth is why we don't have dinosaurs anymore. And they're some of the different objects we can find in our solar system. Any questions, guys? That was brilliant. Well done. Welcome back to class. We hope your students enjoyed the PowerPoint presentation so that they can learn more about some of the different objects that exist in our solar system. It's not just planets and the sun. There are different objects that travel around, and it's good to know about them because some of them come pretty close to Earth. And coming up, we've got a flashcards exercise for our students to practice learning the different facts and putting them into the correct categories. But before then, guys, it's time for our stretch sequence. So let's stand up and push in our chairs. And we can begin this sequence with some rotations. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Excellent, guys. And now we can do some stretches. Let's do 5 stretches to our right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Brilliant, guys. And let's do 5 stretches to our left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Brilliant. Now have a shake. Arms and legs, shake it out. Shake it out. And then we can take our right hand and find our left foot. And then left hand to our right foot. Right hand, left foot. Left hand, right foot. Right hand, left foot. Left hand, right foot. And then another shake, guys. Arms and legs, shake it out one more time. And to finish, we will do 5 star jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent, guys. Have a seat. And now it's time for our flashcards exercise where we're going to have our students sort the different facts about the 3 different types of objects into the solar system into the correct categories. So teachers, what you'll need to do for this exercise is print out all of the flash sheets and cut each of the facts about the different objects into different flashcards. And what we're going to do is we're going to give our students a flashcard each, have them come forward, speak the vocabulary, and then place the flashcard according to the correct object in the correct column. But before then, guys, we need the names of our 3 different types of solar system objects that we've learnt about. Can anybody remember their names? The first one was comets. Yes, we have comets in the solar system. C-O-M-E-T-S. Comets. But as well as comets, we have something else beginning with M. Meteors. Yes. Meteors too. M-E-T-E-O-R-S. Excellent, guys. And then there was a third type of object we get. Remember, there's thousands of them in a big belt around the solar system. Begin with A. Asteroids. Yes. These are all different types of objects in the solar system. And asteroids is spelt like this. So let's say the names of the 3 different types of objects again. Comets, meteors, and asteroids. And in our PowerPoint presentation, we learn different facts about the ways in which we can tell them apart. So what we'll do now is we'll divide these into 3 different categories. And we're now going to give our students a flashcard each. They will come forward, speak the vocabulary on the flashcard, and then together we'll try and decide if we're talking about a comet, a meteor, or an asteroid. So let's see, first flashcard to our first student. Let's see who can go first. Pak Bung, come and join me at the front, please. Okay, so Pak Bung's flashcard, let's have a look. It says, have a tail and melt near the sun. So who can remember what? Excellent, Lakgao. Yes, comets are the objects in the solar system that have the tail. They're like lumps of balls of ice, and they leave a tail behind. So Pak Bung, can you find the right column? Brilliant. And we can say together, comets have a tail and melt near the sun. Pak Bung, that was brilliant. High five and a big round of applause for Pak Bung, please, guys. So teachers, you can see the activity that we're doing in our classroom now. You can pause the video and do the same activity with your own students. And remember, choose a different student for each flashcard, then have them practice speaking together and place the different flashcards in the correct column. And we're going to carry on playing here too. So our next flashcard, let's see who can go next. Bang Bon, come and join me at the front. So now we have, this flashcard says, burn inside the Earth's atmosphere. So who can remember what type of object, if it enters the Earth's atmosphere, begins to burn? Meteor. Yes, well done, guys. It's the meteors. So Pangpon, we can place it in here. Brilliant. And we can say together, meteors burn inside the Earth's atmosphere. Yes, they can start off as massive big rocks, and then as they burn, they crumple down into small stones. Pangpon, that was brilliant. Big round of applause for Pangpon, guys. And on to our next flashcard for our next student. And now is the turn of Lakgao. So Lakgao, come and join me at the front. Let's see what Lakgao's flashcard says. Sometimes collide with each other. So we get some of them close together, they can collide. Asteroids, well done, guys, that's correct. So Lakgao, you can place your flashcard there. Brilliant. And we can say, asteroids sometimes collide into each other. And the word collide means to crash, like into each other. Lakgao, that was brilliant. Big round of applause for Lakgao, guys. And on to our next flashcard. Our next flashcard goes to Prel. So Prel, come and join me at the front, please. And let's see what Prel's flashcard has to say. Prel's flashcard says, lumps of ice and dust. So what do we think is a lump of ice and dust traveling through the solar system? Comets, yes. Remember when we said comets can melt if they get near the sun? That's because they're lumps of ice. So Prel, can you find a place for this one? Brilliant. And we can say comets are lumps of ice and dust. Preo, that was brilliant. Big round of applause for Preo, please, guys. And on to our next student for our next fact. And our next student will be Down. So Down, come and join me at the front of class, please. So let's see. Down's flashcard says, giant lumps of rock. So can you remember? A meteor, yes. A meteor is basically a giant lump of rock traveling through space. So Down, can you find a place for meteors? And together we can say, meteors are giant lumps of rock. Yes, Down, that was brilliant. Big round of applause for Down, please, guys. And now, on to our next flashcard. And our next flashcard can go to Chew. So Chew, come and join me at the front of class. And let's see what Chew's flashcard says. Can be found in a giant belt. Remember the big belt around the solar system? What do we think can be found there? Asteroids, yes, in the asteroid belt. So Chew, can you find a place in the asteroids column? That will do nicely. Well done. And we can say asteroids can be found in a giant belt. Between the planets Mars and Jupiter, there's a big asteroid belt. Chew, that was brilliant. Big round of applause for Chew, please, guys. And now, on to our next student. We've got 2 facts left. And the next student is Nadia. So Nadia, come and join me at the front, please. Okay, so like we've just said, orbit the sun between Mars and Jupiter. That belt we talk about between Mars and Jupiter, what belonged there? Asteroids, yes. So Nadia, you can find a place, and we can say asteroids orbit the sun between Mars and Jupiter. Nadia, that was brilliant. Big round of applause for Nadia, please, guys. And we've got 1 fact left, so let's see who can do the final fact. And the final fact can go to Pat. Come and join me at the front, please, Pat. So what objects are also called shooting stars? What do we think? Not quite. Meteors, yes, it's the meteors. So we can place this fact into here and say together, meteors are also called shooting stars. Pat, that was brilliant. Big round of applause for Pat, please, guys. So there you go. We've worked out some of the different facts about objects in the solar system. And my students did a great job of sorting them into their correct categories. So let's say them one more time together, guys. Comets have a tail, melt near the sun, lumps of ice and dust. Yes, meteors burn inside the Earth's atmosphere. Our giant lumps of rock are also called shooting stars. And finally, asteroids sometimes collide into each other, orbit the sun between Mars and Jupiter, can be found in a giant belt known as the asteroid belt. Guys, that was brilliant. Very well done. And now it's time for our worksheet activity. So teachers, make sure that each of your students gets their own worksheet activity about the different objects in the solar system. And what we've got a table that's leaving spaces for each of the different objects: comets, meteors, and asteroids. We want our students to demonstrate their understanding of each one by reading the facts in the vocabulary box and then writing each fact in the correct box, whether it belongs to meteors, comets, or asteroids. And guys, you only need one fact per box. So after you've written it once, you can cross it out. But what's the first thing we need to do? Write your names on top, indeed. So Ned, this one's for you. You're welcome. Pat, for you. You're welcome. Nadia, for you. You're welcome. Chu, for you. You're welcome. Dan, for you. You're welcome. Prel, for you. You're welcome. Lakau, for you. You're welcome. And Bangpon, for you. You're welcome. So the first one, guys, fact number 1. Giant lumps of rock. Correct. You can see here our fact, giant lumps of rock, belongs in the meteors column. So you can write this fact in your meteors column on your worksheet. That's it. Well done, Net. So giant lumps of rock. You see, Pat, we've got giant lumps of rock. So have a look on our boards at our flashcard exercise. And you see meteors. The fact is with the meteors. So you can write it in the meteors column. Each fact only belongs once to each object. And if you need any help, guys, let me know. Okay. Burn inside the Earth's atmosphere. So guess what? Have a look closely. Meteors burn inside the Earth's atmosphere. What happens is they start off as massive big lumps of rock. But as they get into the atmosphere, they burn down and down and down. So that by the time they reach the Earth, they're sometimes small stones. Inside atmosphere. So burn inside the Earth's atmosphere. Where can you find that fact on our board? Burn inside the Earth's atmosphere. Meteors. Well done, Prel. Well done, Lakau. If you can cross out as well, because after you've written the fact, it's only needed once. So what's our next one, Pat? A tail. Okay. So what ones have a tail? What did we say have a tail? Really? Really? Comets, you see? Comets have a tail. They don't really have a tail. It looks like they have a tail. A comet is like this. But what happens is, because it's traveling so fast, dust and ice particles come off the back of it. So it makes it look like it has a tail. But really, the comet is just like this, round object. Melt near the sun, okay. Melt near the sun too, because they're made of ice. So if ice gets too hot, it melts. Yes, correct. This is like a comet here. You see this one? It's like this is the comet, and then the tail. Excellent, guys. So you see how we can tell the different objects apart. melt near the sun. So what do we think? Comets, correct, because comets are lumps of ice. So if ice gets too hot, it melts. Okay, Nadia? Also called shooting stars. So what can we say are shooting stars? Meteors, yes. Remember we learned meteors are also called shooting stars. Yes, that's the meteors. Or they're sometimes called falling stars. Yes. Comets melt near the sun because comets are lumps of ice called shooting stars. Not the comets. Meteors. Well done, Prel. Welcome back to class. We hope your students enjoyed the worksheet activity where they had to demonstrate their understanding of the different objects in the solar system other than planets. The three things we're working on today: meteors, asteroids and comets, and they're all different in some ways. My students did a great job of reading each of the facts that we've learned today and writing them in the correct categories. So well done, guys, that was very good. And that's all we've got time for today, so we hope you've enjoyed the lesson and now understand more about the different objects that exist in our solar system: comets, meteors and asteroids. And we'll see you again soon for the next lesson. So can we turn to wave and say goodbye, guys? Bye bye. See you again soon.